And then after the concert, he came in the backstage and met me and said that, I heard about you a lot, and I heard you're playing too. And Alu Bhai told me, means Ali Abul Khan sir. But just seeing him in front of me, I was totally frozen. I could not move. I could not say anything. I was just standing like a statue. And he was laughing, and then he left. And when he left, one of my friend who was Raviji's student too, Deepak Chaudhuri. Deepak was there, and Raviji said that, you know, Swapan is a little funny. He has no movement, nothing. He didn't say anything. What's going on? Does he want to play with me? Or I asked him, but he has no response. So Deepak said that, Guruji, Swapan was totally frozen. He didn't expect you to be there. And like that, it's just in front of him. And you are asking him to play. So then Raviji said, okay, why don't you ask him to come and meet me in Lala Sridhar's house? So that's what the beginning. And then my first concert was with him in Ravindra Bharati University, where he was doing some lecture demonstration. That was the beginning of.
Which year was that, Swapanda?
I think that was 1972, 73, something like, when our governor was at that time. I do remember A.L. Dias. He was the governor at that time, West Bengal governor. And it was during the time of the chief minister was, I think, Siddhartha Shankar Rai, probably.
Okay.
Or Prafulla Sen, something like that. That I exactly don't remember. But since then, I was getting more close to him, more free to him. I could talk to him, but still, if he looked at me, and then I had that kind of I could move. So one day we were discussing, and some kind of and then I told Raviji, I said, can I tell you something? He said, yeah. I said, when you look at me like that, my entire body gets paralyzed. So he started laughing. He said, so you want me not to look at you? I said, no, not that, but I don't know. It's your personality, your strength, your energy. And then he said, you'll get used to it.
Typical Guruji.
So after that, it was like so many fun thing happened that we all went to watch movie, going to some parties. It was so much fun. And then one time, a couple of stories I must say that is very interesting. It reflects the personality of Raviji. We had a concert in Ahmedabad. And this was also in 70s. And Deepak was with us. And the day of the concert, the night before the concert, I got, there was a IFA Shield soccer game between East Bengal and Mohun Bagan. These two rival group in Kolkata is very strong. And I was the supporter of East Bengal. So, and East Bengal lost the game 1-0. And next day, I was very disturbed and sitting on the table. We were staying with Mr. Sain's house and having a cup of tea. And all of a sudden, I was sitting here, Deepak was here, Raviji was staying just opposite side one house. Raviji came and just patted my back and said, "Don't worry, next year we are going to give them a dozen go." By that time, Raviji already got it because he looked at the newspaper, he read the newspaper, he knew everything. It tells that this man had so much thing to, already he knew it.
He was
And
he was so connected.
He was so connected with that and to cheer me up. So I couldn't say anything, but then he said, "Okay, let's go and have some practice." Because I said, "Okay." So we went practice. I was still a little depressed. And then he said, after the practice, "This evening we are going to go to see a movie." And we went. You know what was that movie? Golmaal. Utpal Dutt
What a
is
beautiful, great movie.
great movie.
Rishikesh Mukherjee.
That's so it tells that this man, he wants to give his love to everybody in a very different way, you know. And then after the movie, I was much better. And then the next day was the concert. So these kind of things you don't get from anybody nowadays. You know, this kind of love, it is nothing, but it is something very special because that man was thinking about uh, me or Deepak or you or everybody.
Everybody.
And for everybody. And Raviji always used to think about his students, always used to take care. I have seen that. You know, when Deepak was in a um, not feeling well physically, Raviji always used to call me and say that, "Swapan, could you find out what is going on with Deepak?" And anyway, so that was in India. There was another story, but that was later on. When 80s, when I came to uh, America, and then Raviji at those days used to visit in San Francisco from Los Angeles because he used to come to Los Angeles. At those days, he used to stay with Harihar Rao in his Pasadena house. And so one day he said, "Swapan, what are you doing? It is a weekend." I said, "I'm not doing anything, no concert, nothing, just," he said, "I'm sending you a ticket, come and we'll have a fun." So he sent me 2 tickets, me and my wife. And we went and it was nothing, no concert, nothing, just have fun, you know, the whole day. And I said, "You know, for this year," he said, "Yeah, I was a little bored. So, you know, it felt good now." And then one time we had a concert in Guwahati. This is a very funny story. And Raviji, we were sitting on the stage, and then the announcer came and she started introducing. And first thing she said that one of the greatest musician of the whole world, here is Pandit Ravi Shankar. And I looked at Raviji. Raviji said, "What she said?" I said, "She said Ravi Shankar." And then that woman was saying, now on the tabla, there is Sri Hapana Chaudhuri. Raviji said, what he said? I said, Hapana Chaudhuri. So Raviji told her, look, Ravi Shankar and Swapan Chaudhuri. And she said, that's what I said, Ravi Shankar and Hapana Chaudhuri. Because in Assamese, they don't have sa. Sa, they pronounce ha. So Ravi Shankar and Hapana Chaudhuri. Since then, till the end of his day, Raviji always used to call me Hapan. Hapan. But, I have so much memory, so many things we did. He included me, on his project we did in Los Angeles, Japan Theater. It was a big orchestra Raviji created as a fantastic. It was Lakshmi Jethima was there, Ashishda was there, Shubho was there. Who else was there? Vishaman Bhatt was there. Tarun, a huge group, at least maybe 30 or 40 people. Isha Lal was there. And then one Japanese taiko drummer was there. And that guy was just behind me, was playing taiko. And taiko is a very powerful instrument, the drum. And it can, I said, I cannot play, I can't hear anything because he was taking over. So Raviji said, yeah, I cannot even hear myself. And on the stage, it was so much fun. All these old memories, like one time we were playing in Minneapolis in Orchestra Hall. It was Minneapolis Orchestra, 3-storied, right? So it's beautiful. And in the middle of the concert, he was playing Arachartha in the gut. And all of a sudden, he looked at me and he said, in Bengal, he said, "O Gopal, ektu haso na, ektu hasa." So I got totally disturbed. I said, what is he talking about? Who is Gopal? So he repeated again, looked at me, "O Gopal, ektu hasa na." Dekho ami kiram haschi, daঁতটা একটুখানি বার করো. Seeing him like that, I started laughing. I couldn't control myself. And then, what happened? Then the big applause started from the auditorium. And then he looked at me, he said, that's what I wanted. That's why he did it. Then went back to his presence, and he was so calculative. He knew it, what is coming and what will happen. It's just, and talking to him, not only about music, I mean, what we could learn from him. He has so much, you cannot finish him. But besides music, I used to talk to him about a lot of stuff, like, for example, astronomy. He had unbelievable knowledge of astronomy. He had knowledge of literature. He had knowledge of drama, movies, general politics, what is happening all over the world. So one day I said to him, could you tell me that which subject you don't know? And he started laughing. He said, only one thing I don't know. I wish I could, but I'm lazy. He said, I don't know how to cook. I can make only toast, put it in a toaster and make it toast, and tea. hot water, tea bag. Besides that, I don't know anything. Then we talked about food, and he was very fond of, about the food, particularly typical Bengali food, which we don't get nowadays. So and I had no idea of cooking when I came to the United States. I didn't know how to cook, so I wanted to go back to India after 1 month. But then I started, cooking myself, teaching myself, and getting recipes from India. And I didn't know the difference between cabbage and lettuce. So one day I cooked lettuce, thinking that that was cabbage. So I had gone through a lot of trauma, I mean, through this. But uh, when in 80s, late 80s, when I was really playing with Raviji a lot and traveling in America when I was here. And so we used to go, and then if we stay in some houses, entirely our, it's nobody else, then I used to cook. And he used to love that. He said, Swapan, could you cook that dal? You had this dal and special tadka with what you call it, garlic.
Cumin seed.
Yeah, cumin seeds and garlic. Uh, that khushbu, that smell, beautiful smell. And so, and then he used to come over here. Whenever he used to come, he is always comes to my house. And then one time it happened that he came here, but he said, I am here to relax. And he will be here for 10 days. So he was staying here. And so I used to bring him for both lunch and dinner. He was so happy. And let's walk. Let's go for doing some scenic beauty in Northern California. And then we used to discuss about music, about, I learned a lot from him. Like, for example, like how you should behave with the older generation. Whether that person is a musician or not doesn't matter. But to maintain our culture. This was the thing Raviji was, we learned so much from him, that how to behave yourself. And I have seen what he did to me. Like, he used to keep an eye. Like, if he saw me that I'm getting a little big head, he used to not tell me anything, but he used to kill me on the stage. And then later on, he will tell me, you know why I did it? Because I saw that it's coming. That's why I did it. And it will be good for you. And it was good for me. So simple things, but it made so much meaning, And then talking about to how you can surrender to your elders. And he said that he always used to say that, whenever you see somebody, this is our culture, to do pranam to your elders, always, because it is not that you have to do it, but you are doing it in order to get their blessing. And you get the blessing once you touch. They don't have to say anything, but you get the blessing. And I have seen him, like a couple of people. One day, this guy came, and I was sitting there, and Raviji told him do you know Swapan? And so he said, yeah, I know. So, Swapan da, yeah, of course I know. So he said that which means that Swapan is older to you, isn't it? And he said, yeah. So he said to him, you should touch his feet too. He's your older. He does not need to do these things, but he was coming from that era, and we have so much that he gave us. Not only music, but everything. It was, I mean, and that's one of the reasons I don't talk about him. I don't, even I stop listening to him because it hurts me inside me, but I cannot tell these things to anybody. How can I? So it stays inside me, but I know what I am feeling. But whenever I feel that, I just look at his photos and it brings me back to those times. And that feels me, relieved, good. I mean, Raviji he's the only, I think, Ravi Shankar is Ravi Shankar. I can say one thing that, I don't know who is God or God is. I go to the temple, I see all the deities, I do my pranam, but I don't know them. To me, Ravi Shankar ji was like that because I can touch him, I could talk to him, I could get his blessing. So he is my God because he could listen, he could explain, he could feel for me, he could see what I'm going through, try to solve that. He has done so much for me. I have no complaint and I'm blessed. And I get very, kind of emotional. Talking about them, it really hurts me. It hurts me. And then, you have seen when he was in Delhi at that time, in that building on Om. And I had been there many times, practicing with him. Speaking and going here and there, and then playing a concert like Shankarlal Festival, big concert, big hall. You were there too at that time.
I remember Shapunda very clearly that incident you are saying of Lodi Estate. There was one day a practice session for almost 3 hours, just you and Guruji. We were just sitting and listening. And he was playing Dhamar that day.
Mm-hmm.
It's etched in my mind that those tihais and those, how the whole style of Guruji's Gatkari changed. And he was playing everything what came from Dhrupad. There was no element of Khyal in that. And how beautifully he was, because you were going to the south with him after that to perform a series of concerts. Mm-hmm. Outstanding concerts those were. I think Chennai, Hyderabad, that whole tour. And I came to Savai Gandharv, if you remember.
Right.
So that Dhamar that day, what Guruji played and the way he was, I want to know from you, because you just played Theka of Dhamar, and wherever Guruji was asking you to play, every time, even though you could play, I'm sure with your talim and with your expertise. But every time you asked him, what do you want me to play? What should I play? And every time he was suggesting you something, and the kind of tihais he was doing. I want to hear from you. What went that day in that session of pure sheer music?
Yeah.
What was
Well,
that?
it was Raviji somehow or other got carried away. I think he was playing what raga he was playing.
He was playing Shri
No, but that is in the concert.
concert. In the practice, it was a morning session. Yeah, morning session. He was playing, I think, Ahir Bhairav or something like that. A morning.
Like that. But wow, I mean, so I said to him, you probably remember that what happened to you today?
Yeah.
I mean, he was like, he said, I don't know. Then later on, he told me, this is, I am blessed. He is telling me that he was blessed because he got this talim from his guru, which is Alauddin Khan Sahib. And he said, it just came today.
Yeah, correct.
And he was doing so many different angles. It was going like
It was outstanding.
back and forth.
I-
It just unbelievable.
And I loved how it ended. If you remember, he wanted you to memorize the last tihai.
Right.
I want you to say that is because it became, everything was so serious, depth and everything. And that last, Guruji said, no, don't worry about it. I mean, you play Theka, play whatever. But then in the end, this tihai, I think we are going to play together. I want you to tell everybody what happened then.
Well, yes, he fixed it Tihai. It's a 2 cycles Tihai. He said, it was like, I still remember that. So I said, okay. But something told me that things will be different
On stage.
on the stage.
So you told very, very bluntly, you said, no, I'm not going to memorize this.
Yeah, I said, I'm not going to memorize. He said, why? I said, because it'll be a different thing on the stage.
Correct.
You want me to memorize? It's a wastage of time. Okay, so exactly same thing happened. He started with Sri Ahas, but that night, Raviji's that alap. I wanted that. This is the only time I asked him, can I have this recording so that I can listen? It was so beautiful. And he said, yes, could you make a copy for Swapan? But unfortunately, that never happened. And
what is this? There is a sound, there's a music playing.
yeah.
Sorry, there was an interruption. Yeah.
So anyway, and on the concert, it was totally different. So it was definitely Sri Alap, and then that was in Dhamar, no doubt, but entirely different.
Totally different. Totally.
Totally. And he said to me, feel free, play. And so, we got into it, and Binay Bharatram and all these people were there, Guruji, Swapan bhai, kya baat hai? So then finally, the Tihai part came, he just started, and I just followed him.
Correct.
And then when it landed on some, it was like the people just stood up. It was so much emotion was there at that time. And looking at his face, because you could feel that he really enjoyed that part, that section. It was just glowing.
Can I ask you something here, Shapanda? As a student, I want to know from you, why was it that Guruji,
Mm.
if you take his rags, Yaman was very different to Marwa. Marwa was different to Shri. Shri was different to Bilas Khani. Every, like a new person you're meeting. And B, why was his like Dhamar so different to Teental? Teental so different to Jhaptal? Jhaptal, as if the others don't exist at all when he's playing one of them. What, I mean, of course, it was Talim and his genius, of course. But I want to hear from you. Did you also feel that way about his?
Yes. Yes. There was a reason. And I discussed with him about this. His answer was unbelievable. I never thought about that direction, what he was saying. What he was saying, that look, me, Ravi Shankar, you, Swapan Chaudhuri, he, Gaurav, he, Deepak, you guys are all human beings, but everybody is different, isn't it? So I said yes. So he said every rag is like human. So you have to know that person well so that he can, each time you are treating him differently. It's the same rag. But if you know, then you have to know that what things this person likes. According to that, you can treat him or her. So every rag is different, should be different from each other. Every single tal is also like that. Every single tal is different to each other. And that was the reason that we had that division on each tal. If there is no division, then everything is straightforward. Yeah. And that's the reason that, he told me that, think about this way. It went back again. I have some connection problem.
No, they can't see that.
All right. So, and so it's like when he said that when you are playing Dhamar, Dhamar had a different division. When you are playing Arachata, it is different. When you are playing Rupak, it is different. Then he said to me that, in the older generation, what they used to do, they will play Dhamar, and then after that, they will switch over to Arachata. I said, why is that? He said, because every single tala has a certain speed limit. Like, for example, if you start playing Darwari Kannada and doing lots of tans, it does not fit. So same thing with the talas too.
Correct.
Every tala has certain speed and you go along with that, then you can see the beauty of the tala. And that's why Dhamar will be in one speed, slow, medium speed, and then you go in the fast, medium speed, Arachata. And then same thing with Rupak. He used to say that only one tal, which I do believe, that tal does not have any speed limit. Any speed that tal can maintain its character.
Correct.
That Tintal. And that's why Tintal is called Mother Tal. Because it does not change its character. But if you say you are doing japtal, he used to tell me that. Look, you were saying that, dina, 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 dina. Are you going to clap like that? After a while, what will you do? Dina, 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 dina. So you are in tintal. So he said, take any tal, it will be the same thing. So which means that was the reason that in our Shastra, when they created Tala system, they created these so that it can be controlled, that speed and this and that, so that it can keep the purity of the Tala, like it can keep the purity of the Raga. It's such a beautiful example.
Beautiful, beautiful. And the material, what you play in Dhamar will not be a Rela but a Paran. You know
Yeah.
how beautifully explained that you don't play Tan in Dhamar, you play Todas.
Right.
You played, Bolbat, you play accordingly whatever tal you have chosen. Otherwise, it will be same. I mean, what you're playing in Teen Tal, you just reduce 2 beats and it becomes Dhamar. Or whatever you play in Dhamar, you play in Hada Chautal.
That's
Or
true.
you reduce 4 beats, it becomes Jhaptal. It's not like that.
No, no. That's why there every single raga you have so many gatkari, so many different compositions. Same thing in the tala too. Every tala has so many different beautiful composition was created in the older time, and that was his version, Raviji's version, that what he used to think, and he said, Swapan, I really like your approach. I said, what do you mean my approach? He said, no, the thing which you are asking me, your questions was very good. Nobody asked me this kind of question. Everybody says about the vibhag of the tihai, but you want to know about this, and which is very important when you are playing all these different talas. You have to maintain that and you have to think about it. Then he said another thing which is very interesting. You know what? Where this happened? This was happened when you said that we had a tour in South. So
Yes.
in class, we were staying in Bharatram's guest house, and Shamim Ahmed was there. So we were discussing it there. And then he said, in the North Indian section of the Tala, we have this division of every single Tala. And each Tala, their theka is fixed.
Fixed, yeah.
So change it. But if you look at in the South, it is different. Why it is different? Because they go along with the Jati system. So Laghu, Guru, Vishajitam, these three things. Laghu is 4 weeks. So they have 5 jatis and 7 talas. So that means 35. So each time they change it. For example, Adital or Tripitatal, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? Now this is Chatusra. Why? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? Yeah. But they can change it and say that now I'm playing Misra Yati Triputatal, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3. So changes is only on Laghu. So 4 to 7. You see? But in Hindustani music, we can do that. Our tala is fixed.
Yeah. The bowls are fixed.
Exactly. And so why tala was fixed? When the tala was fixed, their character was fixed, which means the speed. And it was so beautifully he used to explain. And I used to think, man, it's not only that what was his talim? His talim was unbelievable. We don't know how much he knew it. But at the same time, he was also analyzing, visualizing which note will be, which rhythm will go along with it. Ah, I mean, I have seen when he was composing a piece for a Japan theater concert. And he was not thinking before. He was sitting there, we were all there, and then he started composing. And I was just watching him, and what he was thinking, it feels like that, he's seeing it. It's as if somebody is telling him to do this, to do this, to do that, and he's doing it. But it was just mind-blowing experience for me those days, what I have seen Ravi Shankarji, and so much fun also on the stage, so much fun. And also at that time, the great friendship between Khan Sahib and Aligarh Khan Sahib and Raviji. It was very sweet, what I have seen.
Please share with us.
Um,
By the way, I just remembered it was Rag Sindura he was practicing with you.
maybe.
Amar Sindura. Yeah, please share with us about it.
It was very funny, their relation. They loved each other so much, so deeply. But they used to get carried away with other people, what they are saying. That's also true. But their love till the end, when I remember when Raviji got sick in San Diego, and Khan Sahib came to know that night that he was hospitalized. Next early morning, Khan Sahib drove from here to San Diego. Straight.
From San Francisco to San Diego, which is what? How many hours? That is by
about 8 hours drive.
And he drove himself.
No, he was there, and Jimmy, one of Khan Sahib's students.
Jimmy.
So Jimmy was there with him, and so Khan Sahib, Raviji was very touched with that, But their friendship was like, one time I remember there was a press conference was happening in Lala Sridhar's house. Deepak was there. And they were talking about, and Raviji's, how great he was when he was giving interview and stuff like that. People were asking him questions after questions, and he was just to the point. And then one question, one reporter said that you talked about so many musicians, you talked about upcoming musicians, but you did not say anything about Aligarh Khan Sahib. What do you think about Aligarh Khan Sahib's music? And he said, it's better not to say anything about Alu Bhai. He said, it was on the record, because it came out in the newspaper. He said, we are all musicians, but Alu Bhai is musician's musician. It's better not to talk about him. His music is for us. And then I saw them on the stage enjoying so much each other, and also sometimes Raviji used to start. um, saying some kind of using bad words to Khan Sahib. And Khan Sahib said, you know. And then Khan Sahib will answer. So on the stage, while they were playing, we were all sitting in the back and hearing all this stuff. So Deepak used to say, hey, Guruji, what he's saying? Hey, Khan Sahib saying something, Baba. And but the last time was very heartening because when Khan Sahib got really sick, that was the Raviji's last visit here. I think this was in 2008. Raviji came from there. Raviji was there, Shikanaji was there, Shika was there, Tanmay was there. So Raviji called me, and that was, I still remember, that was Mother's Day. And Raviji said that we are coming, going to see Alu Bhai, and then after that, then I will drop by to your place. I said, okay. So he went there, but he could not handle it, seeing Khan Sahib like that. He could not handle it. And so he was there maybe not even 15 minutes. Then he came back to my house here, and he said, I cannot take it. Seeing him like that, no, I can't. Then, and he was very upset. Then I said, can I make you some tea or snacks or anything? He said, yeah, okay. So we had some snacks, tea, and then I started talking different things so that he will feel better. So I started talking different things, and after a while, then he was feeling a little better and got carried away, and then was not going away, and he was just staying there. He was liking it. And then around 9 o'clock, he's saying, I'm getting a little hungry. And that day, that was the only day that I didn't cook anything, because that was Mother's Day. So we went out, all the kids and me and my wife, everybody, and had late lunch, like a brunch. So I said, and in Marin County those days, after 9, everything is closed. So I said, let me see. So I called one of the restaurant, Indian guy, and he said, yeah, I closed it. I said, you have to keep it open. I'm bringing somebody. I'm not going to tell you who, but you have to keep it open. He said, okay, but all my cooks, they already left. And, but okay, I will keep it open for you, but come from the backside. I said, okay. So we all went there. And the owner, he was a very good cook. And so he said, okay. So he saw Raviji and he got carried away. So then he said that, okay, you have to give me आधा घंटा टाइम. आप ये बताइए आप क्या खाना चाहते हैं. So Ravi ji had this list: the chicken curry, dal, fulka, rice, aloo gobi, all this. And this man is just fantastic cook, and he cooked himself, brought the food, and he just enjoyed the food. And after that, everybody ate, and we were about to leave. And so Raviji said, so how much do I owe you? And so the owner, of this restaurant. He said, Raviji, I know you have lots of money. I know. But don't underestimate me. I have tons of money. But I'm so grateful that you came to my restaurant. I just had only one request. Raviji said, what is that? He said, I would like to take a photo with you. So my wife, Jane took the photo, and he had so much fun that night when he was leaving. Then Anushka was here, but Anushka had a lot of friends around here, all the Zakir's daughters, and they had a group. So Anushka left, and Raviji said, look, she left. I said, she left, so what? She will come back. What she will do here? We are all older people. So she needs her friend circle. So then she came back, and then Raviji was after Tanmay, because Tanmay did some kind of coloring on his hair. So Raviji said, look at him. Look. It was so much fun, those days. But for me, I am blessed. I found my two God. One is Ravi Shankar ji, one is Ali Khan sir. Whatever I am doing it, I'm nothing. Nothing. I'm coming from a different place. But I was fortunate, or destined, I will say, that I got close to these people who are, to me, like my everything. They are my God. And I got their blessing. At least they kept their hand on my head. That's all. And whenever I was with Raviji, I never said to him that, could you take me here? I would like to play with you this. Never. And Raviji one day said, we were sitting and Deepak was there. Raviji said, Deepak, your friend is very funny, because he never asked anything from me. Only thing he wants to know about, talk about, either astronomy or literature, or what new books are coming out, or music. I said, that's what I want. I don't need to, I don't need to know other stuff. Or I don't want to tell you that I would like to play with you. If I can practice with you, if you can show me all these different angles, that is enough for me. And so
I had, Shapunda, I had two questions, if you allow me to ask you.
Yeah.
You have played so many concerts with Guruji alone, with Khan Sahab alone. Having listened to them, I mean, you were on stage, so you were really in such a great privileged position to perform with them. But I always felt that whenever there was a Jugalbandi, the whole texture, color, performance, the rag roop about Khan Sahab changed totally. Did you feel the same, or is it I'm just thinking? Because when you hear Khan Sahab alone and when you hear Khan Sahab with Guruji in a Jugalbandi, it was a different Khan Sahab altogether.
Yeah, that was because...
is it true, to begin with, is it true, or I'm imagining maybe...
No, it was...
You felt the same.
No, it was true. The reason was that because of the choice of ragas. And so the ragas, it kind of, I felt like that it's kind of reminding them when they were studying together. So because and in fact, Kansa a couple of times told me that playing with Robubhai will be very different because it gives me the old stories, when we used to study together. And the same thing Ravi used to tell me that too. That,
because you must have played so many times
yeah.
with Khan Sahab playing Baba's Rag Hem Bihag. But the Hem Bihag they played in New York after Baba's passing away. That Hem Bihag is so different. It is so, and that whole combination of Hemant and Bihag, how it came together and the whole alap. I mean, you could feel Baba's presence in that, and how the concert. I mean, it is just mind blowing. Their Jugalbandis, Shopanda. The
Yeah.
more you listen, the more you go into a different world altogether. That music like this, how is it possible that somebody can create?
Yeah, because it was their understanding, as if they know each other so well that you are bringing this note. That means you could see that he's going to go to this note.
Ah,
We cannot predict. But these two, if you really listen to their Jugalbandi carefully, you know that the counter note, Khansab is doing something, the counter note, what Raviji is
and how perfect, how perfectly it would blend.
doing.
Shobhan.
And effect,
Like
exactly.
on Khan Sahab's birthday this year,
Uh-huh.
Khan Sahab's college, they played that Jugalbandi concert.
That's right.
Jai Jawanti. And I was watching it, Jai Jawanti, outstanding Jai Jawanti and everything. But in the end, if you remember, Bhairavi, all Guruji did was that he was basically teasing Khasab. He was just poking him and then leaving it and watching the fun. And then did something again. It was so amazing. And Khasab was reacting to it. It was just mind-blowing what was happening in a rag like Sindhu Bhairavi, which is so romantic, so full of love. But here was, I mean, it is just outstanding, amazing.
Yeah.
Bandi like this. This is one I wanted to ask, and another where you were personally involved. The Bombay concert with Guruji, you, Zakir Bhai, and Kumarda.
Mm-hmm.
Three tablas, which is I think historic. It never happened before. I don't know if it will ever happen again, with legends, great tabla maestros of India, like you, Zakir Bhai, Kumarda. I want to hear from the beginning when you were told about it till what happened in Bombay, the rehearsals and the concert. Please take us through, because this is something absolutely amazing for listeners to know, that a concert like this was possible thanks to Guruji's imagination and genius.
What happened was that Raviji was thinking about this for a long time.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, he was thinking about this for a long time, but he was also kind of analyzing it, how to do it. So while we were in Kolkata, I do remember that he said to me that, I have kind of like this plan. But he didn't tell me in details. He said, I'm trying to create something so that there will be three tabla players. At that time, there was no mention who is going to play. That the three tabla players will play, but three different talas.
Kya baat hai?
And I said, what? I said, how does that work? He said, that's what I'm thinking. It should work. I said, three different talas with three different tabla player playing, and what you are going to play. So he said, well, the total number of the beats, which will be divided into these three. And so three people, one time I will play this tala with the next with you, or next with somebody, all different talas. I tell you, at that time I said, man, what he's thinking, I can't think about this. This is this is beyond our imagination. And I've never seen anybody to do like that. So we went to Bombay. He said that, could you come 3 days before the concert? So finally, he said, the three tabla players, you, Zakir, Kumar.
Ah, क्या बात?
I said, okay. But the first half will be all solo. 3 solos, intermission, second half will be all together. And that's the time will be that
Time cycle where all three are playing three different tals.
that's right. So we went there and to rehearsal, and I said, he found out that 60 beats. So 60 beats. So it is Kumar was playing Pancham Swari.
Chaptal, Pancham Savari, and Ektal.
Pancham Swari, Jhaptal, and Ektal.
10 into 6, 60, 15 into 4, 60, 12 into 5, 60. So 60 beat composition he is playing, and your three are playing three different.
Right. So I was
Every
playing
60
Jhaptal.
beats you meet on one.
Right. So I was playing Jhaptal, and Zakir was playing Ektal.
क्या बात?
Kumar was playing Pancham Swari. So he was playing with Kumar. Say, okay, so it's like a what do you call it? Sat Sangat. 4 cycles Kumar, 5 cycles Zakir, and for me
6 cycles.
6 cycles. So finally, it got so confused. Everybody got so confused. Everybody was keep playing. They don't know where I was playing Jhaptal, so Zakir was also playing Jhaptal. Kumar was, and Raviji looked and he got confused. Finally, he said, "It is too much. Stop." But it was fun. Yes, and he's the only person who can do that.
Who can do that? Correct, correct. And the composition he made in the end, Chalakte Ghade.
Right.
You know, the pots, 3 different pots, one full, one
Right.
half full, one.
And he knew how to control the whole thing. That was the beauty of Raviji, arranging such a beautiful thing. And then me and Zakir played with him in many concerts. Also in New York, in Lincoln Center. Many concerts we played together. But yeah, it was so much fun. And in Raviji's thing was in the intermission or in the backstage, his room, some snacks will be there, but banana must. It has to have a banana. Banana and toast. I said, you are saying that you are not feeling good, and you are eating toast and banana. He said, no, it is good. I have so much memory, so much memory, so many funs, and that's the thing, nowadays I don't get that much of fun with anybody, and being now I am the most senior
Yes.
tabla player.
Yes.
And whom shall I talk to? I used to talk with Kansar a lot. I used to talk with Raviji a lot. Every single time in my birthday, Raviji always used to call me. Every time. every time. So one day I said, how do you remember my birthday? He said, I will never forget your birthday. You know why? I said, why? Because it's the same birthday of Nora and Shubha,
Oh, March
30th March.
30th March. Oh,
So
how
it was so funny. But it was Raviji. That's why I love that man so much, and from my heart. Uh, Besides he's a god, and that's there. But as a person, as a human being, the humanity, his soft side, his soft corner, people used to think he is only thinking, no. Basically, Raviji was a very soft-hearted person. And and practicing sometimes when he used to get really sad, I have seen him crying, thinking about his older brother, Ravi Shankar ji, and other brothers, and there are a lot of uh, death happened in their family. I have seen that. So it's not that Raviji was like always don't think about that side. No, he was very soft person. He was inside was like a little child,
yeah.
and he always used to know what is happening, what is happening. Then his famous thing was that after the concert, we have to have a dinner. After dinner, you have to come to my room. He has these things. He was totally hooked into it. It's a game. It's a word making game.
Correct.
Yeah. And he used to
He'll say
but
N. He'll start with
yeah.
a letter even before asking. He'll say N, which means the game has started.
But then he used to get really agitated if he used to get stuck.
Correct.
Then
Correct.
No, it was Raviji, at least what I have seen him, was a very fun person. It was very nice to be with him.
It was always very refreshing.
Very refreshing. And you will not, like for example, one day I put some kind of cologne, and he said, it smells good. I said, really? He said, yeah, what is that? Then he is saying, I said, Paco Ruben. Oh, so you are, I said, yeah, yeah. Then he said, he knows every single details of Paco Ruben.
He gave amazing. It's just amazing.
So one day, one concert, I remember, this is very funny. These are the funny part of Raviji, childish. So we were doing the sound checking. While we are doing sound checking, Raviji said, Swapan, no, hop on, uh, what kind of kurta are you wearing? I said, we are doing sound checking and you are saying what kind of kurta I am wearing? I am wearing the same kurta, which I'm doing now because I didn't bring anything else. He said, really? You are going to wear that? I said, why? Is this a bad one? He said, no, 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 this is great. This is great. So where did you make it? I said, Kolkata. But I had no idea what he was thinking. So he said, look at the monitor. So I looked at the monitor, and and the kurta I was wearing, it was silk, but it was some embroidery there, which is like a little diamond shape all over the uh, kurta. It was kind of creamish color, and the light, when the light was falling, it's kind of flickering. So Raviji said, I cannot match with that. I said, so what do you want me to do? He said, no, well, you didn't bring, so next time you should bring more. I said, okay. So this is Raviji. This is the fun part of Raviji. It's,
And
so
how he would place things in front of you so that you have a choice rather than him telling you do this. He would place it in a way that you would have a choice and you would think and you would do exactly uh, what suits that moment or that occasion.
that's right. That's right.
It was so apt and just amazing, just amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Chapanda, I think if we go on, we'll go on whole night. People,
Yeah, we have to.
it's early morning in California, but it's getting to be 11:30 here. So, how would you? I won't say we are going to end this show. This show is never going to end. As Guruji always said, show must go on. What would you like to say before we say goodbye and we meet again, Shopanda? Uh, what would you like to mention? What would you like to say? What would you like to? I had some questions, but I'm not going to ask because I can see how emotional you are, and I don't want to end on a sad note. And I remember it. One thing what comes to my mind very often is when you spoke at Khan Sahab's memorial, and that really is something we would like to end with a happy note, because Guruji was a happy man. He contributed so much. Him coming to the field of Indian classical music changed the classical music world forever, for better. And everybody after him, they have benefited from his hard work, his contribution, his rags, his tal, his teaching. I mean, till the end, 92 plus, in a few months, he would be 93. How much he contributed, how much he did, how much he gave. There's not a single day I think any musician would not think about him and feel him around. So I would like you to say something on those lines, Shopunda, which would be really very enlightening for all of us.
First of all, what I feel, he changed so many musicians' life. His blessing, and he was very giving, and what he gave to all of you, all of
Yes.
us, all of the whole world.
Yes.
There will be a time when people will think about it, and at that time they will think that Raviji is like a Jesus Christ. They don't
Yeah.
come every century. Once in a while, when this planet needs them, then that is the time they come.
Yes.
And so I just like to say that wherever he is, he must be very happy, and he was always want to be happy, and he was a happy man. But for us, for me, the blessing, the love which I got from him, he taught me a lot in my life. I am grateful to him, and I miss him. I wish I could touch him again, but sometimes I dream him on my, but I wish I could touch him, and I miss him. And thank you, Gaurav. Thank you, Noah.
Thank,
To
thank
everybody.
you. Thank you so much.
Our pranams to you,
Thank
and
you.
you were very special. Guruji really loved you so much. He always spoke very highly about, most important, how dignified you are, Swapanda.
That
You
I
are
learned
an
from
example.
him.
You learned.
That because of
That's
him.
your, yeah, true. Also, your humility, which makes you say that, and of course, we still learn from him. We still learn from him. We still feel him around, and whatever little we are doing, it's thanks to him.
Once,
Our
sorry
pranams
to interrupt.
to you, and we will get back to you again because the celebration has just started, and it's Guruji's 100 years. The celebration is going to start, but not end. We are going to have lots of things, and we look forward to having you, your presence, and your blessings. And
I will be always
thank you.
there. I will be always there, and thank you for doing this wonderful job. This is very good for the future generation and for everybody to celebrate this man, because I feel like that as long as I will be alive, I don't want to see that Raviji. I want to see Raviji all over.
He
Aliapur
will
Khan
be.
all over.
This is
So,
the Shapanda, this is the motive of our foundation to talk about the personality. But thank you so much once again. One last
Here,
question, Gaurav,
here,
just
just
question I wanted to
yeah,
ask.
yeah.
Give
I
a
just
little
want to end
message
with just
to
one.
the lot of youth are seeing this program after, because they were very much eager to listen to you about Pandit ji. Now, just a message to the youth, to the musician, young musician who are playing today. Just give some message to the youth. Uh,
what I will say to them that learn properly from proper guru
yeah.
and focused and be patient, because to be a musician you need a lot of patience, uh, and don't get restless. You focus, you do your job, and you will get to your whatever, wherever you want to go, you will be fine. So look at that's what Raviji always used to tell us, and I'm telling you because I realized that is true, absolutely true. There was a time when I was also very restless, like all of you are whatever the younger generation is facing. But when Raviji told me, you have patience, you do your job, you focus on your practice, you focus on your learning, and don't change guru too much. Just stay in one guru, and then you will reach to your goal. So that's my uh, advice to all the younger generation.
That's
Today,
absolutely
Sukanya Mami also enjoyed your this session, because all the time she is giving different type of comments on the live show. So thanks once again, Sukanya Mami, to you also, and Gaurav Da, especially to you, because you are one of the pillars of the foundation. So we will be always blessed by.
I just wanted to add one thing. And I wanted to, because Shwapanda said such an important thing, that he would see that, would love to see that larger than life image of Guruji always around. One person who has really served selflessly and done such seva is Chinnamma Sukanyaji.
Yeah, that's why
And
I'm
the
this
kind
because
of work she has put herself into, in putting all of Guruji's work together and bringing it in front of people, is absolutely and tirelessly she has worked. She has shown her love and affection to all of us, and still date, she continuously, passionately, she works towards making Guruji visible, and that everybody can hear him, learn from him, and be inspired. For generations, she has made sure that generations to come will benefit from the work Guruji has done and the work he has left behind in terms of music. So our really pranam and gratitude to Chinnamma. Anushka, and the whole family, all Guruji's disciples and everybody who are carrying on Guruji's legacy and his work. And we are all together in this, and we seek your blessings again, Shopanda.
Please
Swapan
give
da,
my regards and
I-
love to Chinnama, and lots of love to Anushka. I'm very proud of her, and my regards to all of you. Love to all.
My son is also blessed seeing Aryan. He is also blessed hearing you. Thank you so much. Thank you once again, Gaurav da. Thank you, the viewers of Pandit Ravi Shankar Music Foundation. We will be coming next tomorrow once again at 8 p.m. IST. Thank you, Shomanda. Pranam.
Thank you.